Greetings and welcome to another video. I'm not sure where to begin, so I'm just going to get straight to the good stuff. This is the Bugatti Chiron Sport. One of my favorite cars in the carmodel collection. This is a scale 18, very big and very beautiful. Let's get straight into this. So this is the scale 118 Bugatti Chiron Sport made by Bburago. It is a very special car to me. I got this for around, I forget the actual price, but rounding up a few dollars, it's around 50. These models on average I'd say go for $48. That feels about right. I'd say this one was like 49, but I'm just going to say 50 because that's close enough to me. The Bugatti Chiron Sport is the a little higher end edition of the Bugatti Chiron. All it is just more carbon fiber. So it's lighter and faster and better suspension and steering. And I'm talking about the real car, not the model, sadly. This thing runs off a beastly quad turbo W16 engine, and it even says, if you can see it, it even says on it 1,500 horsepower, which is a lot. And I like the fact that this thing has 4 turbos from the factory, so you don't even have to put 1 or 2 in. It's already got 4 in there. As you can see from this angle, it's very wide. I love that in cars, especially the exotic ones, and this one is probably one of the widest, girthiest cars out there. But it does not fail to disappoint. This thing has a few records, if I remember correctly. This thing hit 300 miles per hour, or at least very close. It is very few numbers. The Sport Edition, there's not a whole lot. The 16 on it, all I remember is that it represents 16 cylinders. I forget if it mentions if it represents anything else. I'm pretty certain it did, but I do not remember it. This thing is very special as it is made with very special pieces. There's not one bit of plastic on the real car. Of course, the model, there's a lot of plastic, but on the real car, there's not one bit of plastic. Inside, it's all fabric, Alcantara, carbon fiber, and aluminum for your buttons. The logo is actual silver, solid silver. The rims are carbon fiber. The brakes, all the casing is carbon fiber. There's just no carbon plastic. Even the windshield wipers are not plastic. It's all cool, special materials that you can fully customize to whatever spec you want. This one is the factory spec model Chiron Sport with red and black divided by the big signature Bugatti curve. And of course, speaking of other signature things, we do of course have the horseshoe grille. That's a little overview of the real car. Now time to show you around this model. Okay, first things first, this is not brand new to the collection. I have had this for a while, so that's why you'll see dust and possible scratches around. Just letting y'all know. We will be starting with the front. Of course, with any good scale 18 car, good amount of detail to this model. Backdrop just fell again. Anyway, we have a good amount of grille design pattern detail stuff in there, and these big air intakes. There are 2 more little air intakes there, but I don't know, there is a tiny bit more of this grille stuff, but it's very hard to see. It's very small. On this we do have, it is all black except the 16 is just red printed onto the grille design. The Bugatti logo is its own shape and it's also printed. The headlights, very actually minuscule. I mean, there isn't a whole lot of detail to the real headlights. Just these 4 squares and this little air intake here with glass cover. It looks very good. Of course, it's only so much detail you can do. Now with the front, we do have an opening front and it's pretty easy to open. Just that front panel piece. And it is, of course, again, model, not so much you can do, but this is actually very close to the real size, just a little deeper and we'll be there to the real size of the Bugatti Chiron frunk. Still, that's pretty small, but you know, it's there. Good amount of detail and a little bit of display. On the dash, we have, let me raise the camera. We do have some pattern textured carbon fiber plastic there. We do have like one big windshield wiper. I'll stop looking up there because you're getting too much of the interior. I want to save that for last. So next we move on to the side. Next up on the side, I'm going to just start with the big Bugatti curve, nicely separating the red front section and the black rear. I really like this. It's a very unique design. You rarely see something like this on another car that isn't a Bugatti. Starting with the front wheels, both wheels do nicely have rotating brake discs. It's very mesmerizing to watch, to me at least. Very nice rim design. It's really nice and open. I love it. The tires, the wheels do turn. It's quite limited, but they do turn somewhat. Unfortunately, they reset and they do not really stay. So they're not really posable a whole lot. I mean, you can pose them, but they won't stay there for a photo shoot. You can probably like wedge something up in the fender right here between the tire to keep it turned, but yeah, for the most part, you cannot do like a photo or video shoot with the wheels turned. They'll just reset. But it's a nice feature to have either way. And no, this car does not have suspension. You can go ahead and do the back wheel. Same deal. Turning brake disc and rim. Now, both brake, actual like carbon ceramic brake calipers are not placed correctly. This one is supposed to be up on the edge, upper edge right here. Well, this one is supposed to be the same, a little lower with an extra little black e-brake on the bottom. They left those out. They left the e-brake out completely and turned these just be facing inwards. That is a problem to me. I wish they oriented the brakes correctly and added the e-brake, but it's fine. The wheels look good enough without that. I will say though, I love these really wide wheels. These really wide tires, they're pretty darn wide. I really love it. It's really cool. And yes, the whole bottom is more of that textured carbon fiber plastic with some details of the undercarriage, which is cool. On the side, we have a good side mirror. It is not focusing. It is, let me see if I can show you. There we go. It is reflective with some good reflective plastic, which is good. I like that kind of detail. This whole side thing is supposed to be one big air intake. That's all that the black is. Now, it isn't open on the car model, but on the real car, it is a huge air intake. We have a pretty decent door handle that you can actually kind of use. And the doors do open, but not yet. Up here we have a good panel with textured carbon fiber plastic. It looks pretty good. This is not the fuel cap, actually. The fuel cap on the real car is on the other side. Go ahead and show you. This is the actual fuel cap. This is actually the oil cap where you put your oil in, because they do that because on the real car, this is not open. You cannot access the engine unless you're a specialized Bugatti mechanic at a dealership with the special tools you need to take the rear deck lid off, which unfortunately means that this car model is the same. Fortunately, we cannot open it and take a look at the engine, but we do get to see some good engine on display. This is quad turbo W16. My camera's not enjoying focusing on the right thing today. There we go, that's a little better. It's a little hard to see, but we do have the Bugatti EB, which you've already seen on several parts of the car. Should have pointed that out sooner. This side says W16 on it, and this says 1,500, which is the horsepower on these big engine block decoration thingies. Again, these are not plastic on the real car. It's a huge engine, so it'd probably melt the plastic, honestly. And we have these two nice carbon fiber textured plastic cylinders on the inside. They have Bugatti printed on them, but you can't really see it. And yes, on the real car, the whole engine is fully open. So you can just reach in and touch it. Which is, they probably did that intentionally so you can have some access to the engine, because you cannot remove this, and a lot of people who own these kinds of cars really enjoy looking at their engines, which is probably the reason they did this. Now, obviously the taillight is this huge, beautiful curve. The turn signals will be these big side things going around, while the actual brake light will be this big stripe along the middle. Chiron Sport right there, another EB, humongous rear diffuser, all these air, not intakes, I guess heat vents I'd say. This whole thing is more textured carbon fiber plastic. We have 4 big exhausts right in the bottom center right here, and the undercarriage is quite cool right here, nice and molded, so it goes back pretty far. That's the other thing. This spoiler piece does come up, but it's a little tricky and fragile, so it takes... What I do is I put my fingernails up under the lip right here and put my thumb on it, and then pull it up some until I can get my fingernail around the front, and then I pull it up. And it just makes the car look absolutely incredible. I love it. I mostly keep the spoiler up because it makes it look more sporty and aggressive. Now, this whole array is plastic, so you have to be careful with this, or else it might break, and that will be a very big bummer. Even if you super glue it or attach it in some other way, it'll just, you know, ruin the whole car model. And now we move on into the interior. Like I said, the doors do open. I'm going to use a door handle, be kind of fancy. Now, the doors do only open up this much, so there's not a whole lot of visible viewing of the interior, and no, there are no windows. But yes, both doors do open. And I have moved my light source here down, so hopefully we can see more. Right away, big steering wheel right there. The black thing in front of my finger is actually the gear shifter, if you can see. Yeah, that's what you use to put into reverse and drive, and it's really cool. I love how it works. We have the EB logo on the steering wheel, the sticker on the speedometer. It's pretty nicely detailed. Incredibly difficult to see. It's a little better. You can see the gas and brake pedal down there. Pretty cool. There's a lot of this plastic textured carbon fiber on the interior, and it looks pretty cool. We have red seat belts, which is pretty nice. We have this big stripe down the middle of the dashboard and buttons. Now, one thing Bugatti does that I like, that's cool, is there's no big screen in the interior. They made this so that in the future, when current car screens are outdated, this car will not be outdated because it has very minimal screens. In fact, the whole interior is designed to be pretty minimal and straightforward, but look amazing at the same time. And Bugatti did a really good job. I really love it. They really did it. Now, although the engine is open, there is a window like about right there. You can't really see it. Oh, there you go. There's a reflection. There is a little window right here separating the interior of the interior cabin from the engine bay, although it is open right here. Also, almost forgot, but the steering wheel turns. If the camera can focus, and the light can focus too, you can see that the steering wheel turns quite a bit with the wheels. Very nice detail. Of course, that can't really do much, but it really helps and adds detail to the car. I just said, yes, this is a car model. It is not intended for rough play. As I mentioned, this rear spoiler is fragile. These side mirrors are fragile. So you have to be careful. If you're doing a little bit of playing, the most I'll do is just roll it around and watch the wheels spin, because I find that cool to look at for some reason. But it is an excellent display piece without any doubt whatsoever. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is around $50. Again, I do not remember the exact price, but I say $50 is a good bet to go by. Well, that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this model. And I shall return.